had traveled across 17 star systems in his long life. He had walked on frozen moons and burning deserts. He had met species that could read minds and species that lived for 10,000 years. But he had never felt as confused as he did standing on the human colony world called New Horizon. The Council had sent him here to study humans. They were a young species, barely 200 years into space travel. The elder races spoke about them in strange ways. Some called them dangerous, others called them unpredictable. The oldest races simply went quiet when humans were mentioned. Did not understand why. He stood in the main square of the colony's capital city, watching humans walk past him. They were soft creatures with thin skin and weak bodies. They had no claws, no armor, no natural weapons. Their eyes were small. Their teeth were flat. A child could kill an adult human with one strike. Yet the Council had warned him to be careful. "Diplomat," a voice called out. He turned and saw a human female approaching him. She wore a gray military uniform with several medals on her chest. Her black hair was tied back in a tight style. Her eyes were dark and calm. "I am Captain," she said. "Welcome to New Horizon. I will be your guide during your stay." Bent his long neck in greeting. "Thank you, Captain. I am honored to be here." Smiled. It was a strange expression that humans made by pulling their lips back to show their teeth. Had learned that this was meant to be friendly, not threatening. "Let me show you around," she said. "We have prepared quarters for you." They walked through the streets together. The city was clean and organized. Buildings rose up toward the sky, made of metal and glass. Vehicles moved on roads and through the air. Children played in parks while their parents watched. It all seemed so normal, so peaceful. "Your colony is impressive," said. "How long have your people been here?" "About 60 years," replied. "My grandmother was one of the first settlers. She helped build this city from nothing." 60 years is a short time. For your people, maybe. For us, it's 3 generations. 3 generations of hard work, sacrifice, and hope. Notice something in her voice, pride perhaps, or something deeper. They arrived at a military building where a young human male was waiting. He stood straight with his hands behind his back. His face was serious but not unfriendly. "This is Lieutenant," said. "He will help with anything you need." Gave a small bow. "Welcome, Diplomat. We are glad to have you here." Studied the young officer. Was taller than but had the same calm eyes. There was something about the way he stood, the way he watched everything around him. It reminded of predators he had seen on other worlds. But that was foolish. Humans were not predators. "Tell me," said as they entered the building, "why do you have so many soldiers? Is your world in danger?" And exchanged a quick look. It lasted only a moment, but noticed it. "We believe in being prepared," said. "The galaxy can be dangerous. But you are protected by the Galactic Council. No species would attack a member world." "The Empire is not part of the Council," said quietly. Felt a chill run through his scales. They were a warrior species known for their brutality. They had conquered dozens of worlds and enslaved millions. Even the elder races feared to challenge them directly. "They are far from here," said. "They have no interest in human space." "That is what we hope," said, "but hope is not a strategy." They showed him to his quarters, a comfortable room with a large window overlooking the city. Spent the rest of the day unpacking his things and writing his first report to the Council. He wrote that humans seemed ordinary, weak, short-lived, emotional. He could not understand why the elder races spoke of them with such caution. That night attended a dinner with several human officials. He watched them eat, talk, and laugh. They shared stories about their families, their children, their dreams for the future. A human male named sat next to him. He was an engineer who helped build the colony's power systems. He was shy and spoke quietly, often looking down at his food. "What do you think of our world?" asked. "It is pleasant," said. "Your people are kind." Smiled, we try to be. Life is short, so we should be good to each other. Across the table, a human female named was talking too. She was a doctor at the colony's main hospital. She had gentle eyes and a soft voice. She spoke about her patients with great care. I saved a child today, told. She was very sick, but she is better now. Her mother cried with joy. That is wonderful, said. You do important work. Watched all of this with growing confusion. These humans were not warriors. They were builders, healers, dreamers. They cared about life and family and peace. Why would anyone fear them? After dinner, walked with back to his quarters. The night air was cool, and the stars shone bright above them. Can I ask you something? Said. Of course. The elder races speak of humans with great caution. Some even say they fear your kind, but I have seen nothing to fear here. You are peaceful people. Was quiet for a moment. She looked up at the stars, her face unreadable. We are peaceful, she said finally. We want to explore, to build, to learn. We want to raise our children in safety and watch them grow old. Then why the warnings? Turned to face him, her eyes had changed. They were still calm, but something else was there now, something old and cold. Because peace is a choice, diplomat. We choose it every day. We choose kindness over cruelty, building over destroying, love over hate. I do not understand. You will, she said softly. If the time ever comes, you will understand exactly why the stars fear us. I hope that time never comes. I truly do. She walked away, leaving alone under the starlight. He stood there for a long time, thinking about her words. He told himself that she was just being dramatic. Humans were emotional creatures who liked to tell stories. But deep in his heart, in the oldest part of his mind, something whispered that was telling the truth. And that terrified him. The attack came without warning. Was sleeping in his quarters when the first explosion shook the building. He fell out of bed and hit the floor hard. Alarms began screaming throughout the city. Red lights flashed everywhere. He ran to his window and looked outside. What he saw made his blood turn cold. The sky was full of ships, hundreds of them, dark and angular, dropping from the clouds like metal rain. He recognized the design immediately. Warships. They had come. Stood frozen as he watched the ships open fire on the city. Buildings exploded into flames. Streets filled with running people. Screams echoed through the night air. His door burst open. Stood there with a weapon in his hand. His face was covered in dust and sweat, but his eyes were focused. Diplomat, you need to come with me now, said. What is happening? Asked, though he already knew. The Empire has invaded. We are evacuating all civilians to the underground shelters. You are coming with us. Followed through the building. Soldiers ran past them, carrying weapons and shouting orders. The sounds of battle grew louder every second. They reached the street and saw chaos everywhere. Families were running toward the shelters. Parents carried children in their arms. Old people moved as fast as they could. Everyone was scared, but no one was panicking. A fighter flew low over the street, firing its weapons. The ground exploded just meters away from. He fell backward, his ears ringing. Grabbed him and pulled him up. Keep moving, don't stop. They ran through the smoke and fire. Saw human soldiers taking positions behind broken vehicles and fallen walls. They were firing at the ground troops that were landing throughout the city. The soldiers were terrifying. They stood over 2 meters tall with thick gray skin and 4 arms. Each arm held a weapon. Their eyes glowed red in the darkness. Had seen before during diplomatic meetings, but he had never seen them in battle. They moved like machines, killing without emotion or hesitation. He expected the humans to run. He expected them to surrender. They were stronger, better armed, and more numerous. Any logical species would see that fighting was pointless. But the humans did not run. They ran toward a command center where Captain was standing over a holographic map of the city. She was giving orders rapidly, her voice sharp and clear. Unit 7, fall back to Sector 4. Unit 12, I need you to hold that bridge. Do not let them cross. Unit 3, evacuate the hospital immediately. She looked up when entered. Her face was calm, as if this was just another day. Diplomat, she said, I apologize for the poor welcome. We will get you to safety. Captain, you must surrender, said. The cannot be defeated. If you fight, they will kill everyone. Stared at him for a long moment. Then she smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. It was something else entirely. Surrender is not an option, she said. Not now, not ever. You will all die. Maybe, but we will not die on our knees. She turned back to her map, dismissing him completely, led to a chair in the corner. Stay here, said. I have to go. Where are you going? To fight. Ran out of the command center. Through the windows, watched him join a group of soldiers heading toward the heaviest fighting. The battle continued for hours. Sat in that corner, watching and listening. He saw human soldiers report in, their faces bloody and tired. He saw medics rush past with wounded on stretchers. He saw the map change as the push deeper into the city. But he also saw something that he could not explain. The humans were not breaking. Every time they took a building, humans would appear behind them and attack from the shadows. Every time they pushed forward, humans would slow them down with traps and ambushes. Every time they thought they had won, humans would strike back. Doctor came into the command center at some point. Her white medical coat was now red with blood. Her gentle eyes were hard and focused. I need more supplies, she told. The hospital is destroyed. I am treating the wounded in the basement of the school. Take what you need from storage building 7, said. I will send soldiers to protect you. I don't need protection. I need bandages. Left without waiting for a response. Watched her run back into the chaos, into the fire and death, without any hesitation. He thought about the gentle woman he had met at dinner. The woman who spoke softly about saving a sick child. That woman was gone now, or perhaps she had never truly been there. Appeared later, covered in dirt and grease. The shy engineer who could barely make eye contact now carried a strange weapon made from broken machines and spare parts. The power grid is down, he reported too. But I have made portable generators. Our soldiers will have light to fight by. Good work. What about communications? I am working on it. They are jamming our signals, but I think I can break through. Do it. Nodded and ran back out. Noticed that his hands were burned and bleeding, but he did not seem to care. As dawn approached, the fighting reached the command center itself. Could hear soldiers just outside the building. Human soldiers were holding them back, but they were running out of ammunition. Drew her sidearm and checked it calmly. Everyone who can fight, prepare for close combat, she announced. Everyone who cannot, move to the back room. Stood up, Captain, this is madness. You have lost. Accept it and save what lives you can. Walked over to him. She was shorter than him by half a meter, but somehow she seemed much taller. Let me tell you something, diplomat. They believe they are warriors. They believe war is about strength and numbers and weapons. They are wrong. What is it about then? Will. War is about will. Who wants victory more? Who will suffer more to achieve it? Who will die before they surrender? She leaned closer. They have never met a species that would rather die than submit. They have never faced an enemy that fights harder when it is losing. They do not understand humans yet, but they will. An explosion rocked the building. The door burst open and soldiers poured in. The battle inside the command center was brief and brutal. Hid behind a console, watching humans fight with guns, knives, and bare hands. He saw a young soldier tackle and stab it repeatedly until it stopped moving. He saw another soldier use her broken rifle as a club, screaming in rage. When it was over, a dozen lay dead. 5 humans had fallen. The survivors were wounded and exhausted, but they were still standing. Wiped blood from her face and looked at the bodies. "Clear the room and prepare for the next wave," she said. "They will come again." And in that moment, finally began to understand. 3 days passed. 3 days of constant fighting, constant death, constant survival. Had stopped counting the bodies. He had stopped flinching at explosions. He had stopped being surprised by what humans could do. They controlled most of the city now. They had destroyed the government buildings, the power stations, the communication towers. They had killed thousands of civilians and captured thousands more. By every measure of war that knew, the battle was over. But the humans refused to accept it. They fought from the ruins. They fought from the sewers. They fought from every shadow and every corner. They would secure a building, and an hour later it would be on fire. They would send a patrol down a street, and only half would return. Had moved with his group to a new command post, a basement beneath what used to be a school. The walls were covered with maps and notes. The floor was covered with wounded soldiers and tired fighters. He watched work without rest. The gentle doctor had become something else entirely. She moved through the wounded like a machine, stitching cuts, setting bones, pulling bullets from flesh. Her hands never shook. Her voice never wavered. "You need to sleep," told her. Looked at him with eyes that had seen too much death. "Sleep is for peacetime. Right now, every hour I spend sleeping is an hour someone bleeds out. You cannot help them if you collapse." "Then I will collapse, but not yet." She moved to the next patient, a young man with a wound in his stomach. He was crying quietly, calling for his mother, held his hand and spoke softly to him while she worked. "It's okay, I have you. You're going to be fine. Think about your mother. Think about seeing her again. Stay with me." The young man survived. Many others did not. Wandered through the basement, observing everything. He saw things that would stay with him forever. He saw an old woman making bombs out of kitchen supplies. Her hands were wrinkled and spotted, but they moved with perfect precision. She had been a grandmother 3 days ago. Now she was a weapon maker. He saw children carrying messages between groups of soldiers. They were too small to fight, but they could run through spaces that adults could not fit. They knew they were hunting them. They went anyway. He saw building impossible machines from trash and broken equipment. The shy engineer had not slept in days. His eyes were red, his hands were bleeding, and he smelled of smoke and chemicals. But every hour he produced something new. Communication devices, weapons, medical tools. "How do you do it?" asked him. Looked up from his work. "Do what?" "Keep going. You are exhausted. You are hurt. Your city is destroyed. How do you keep going?" Thought about the question for a moment. Because someone has to. Because if I stop, people die. Because giving up is not who I am. "But you were so quiet before, so gentle." "I am still gentle. I still hate violence, but hate does not matter now. Only survival matters." He returned to his work and left him alone. That afternoon came back from a mission. He was wounded, his arm wrapped in bloody bandages, but he refused to rest. He gathered his soldiers and prepared for the next attack. Watched the young lieutenant with growing amazement. 3 days ago had seemed like an ordinary soldier. Professional, competent, but nothing special. Now he was something else. His eyes had changed. They were harder now, older. He moved differently too, like a predator always ready to strike. The transformation was so complete that barely recognized him. "You have changed," said to him. Nodded slowly. "War changes everyone. We become what we need to become." "Is this who you really are? This fighter, this killer?" Was quiet for a long time. When he spoke, his voice was soft. "I was a teacher before I joined the military. I taught young children how to read and write. I loved seeing them learn, watching their eyes light up when they understood something new." He paused. "That man is still inside me, but he is sleeping now. When this is over, maybe he will wake up again, or maybe he is gone forever. I do not know. Do you regret what you have become? I regret that I had to become this. I regret that the forced us to fight. I regret every life I have taken, even though they were enemies. But I do not regret surviving. I do not regret protecting my people. He walked away to join his soldiers, stood alone thinking about his words. That night called a meeting of all the leaders. They gathered around a small table in the basement, their faces lit by emergency lights. They are preparing a major assault, said. They want to finish us. They are bringing all their remaining forces to crush what is left of our resistance. How many? Someone asked. Over 5,000 soldiers, plus heavy armor and air support. Silence fell over the room. Everyone understood what those numbers meant. We have less than 800 fighters left, said quietly. I know. We cannot win against those odds. I know that too. An old man spoke up. His name was, and he had been a farmer before the invasion. Now he carried a rifle and led a group of fighters. So what do we do? Surrender. Looked around the table. That is one option. If we surrender, some of us might survive. The take slaves. They will work us until we die, but we will live a little longer. No one spoke. No one wanted to say what they were all thinking. Finally broke the silence. I will not be a slave. I will not watch my patients be taken and tortured. I would rather die fighting than live on my knees. Same, said. I will not build weapons for them. I will not help them conquer other worlds. One by one, everyone in the room spoke. Old and young, men and women, soldiers and civilians. They all said the same thing. They would fight. Nodded slowly. Then we fight, but not just to die. We fight to hurt them. We fight to make them bleed for every meter of ground. We fight so that when they leave this world, they will remember us forever. How? Asked. Smiled, and it was a terrible thing to see. We attack first. Tonight, before they are ready, we hit them with everything we have left. Could not stay silent any longer. This is suicide. You will all die. Looked at him calmly. Maybe, but they will learn something valuable tonight. They will learn that humans do not break. They will learn that when you push us to the edge, we push back. And they will learn that some things are worth dying for. She turned back to her officers and began explaining the plan. Sat in the corner, watching these strange, terrifying, beautiful creatures prepare for their final battle. He thought about everything he had seen in the past 3 days. The death, the suffering, the courage, the transformation. He finally understood what the elder races had meant. Humans were not dangerous because they were strong. They were dangerous because they could become anything. They could transform from peaceful builders into ruthless warriors in an instant. They had no limits, no boundaries, no point where they would simply give up. And that made them the most terrifying species in the galaxy. The attack began at midnight. Watch from the basement as the human fighters moved out into the darkness. They carried everything they had left. Guns, knives, bombs, tools. Some had armor, most did not. They were wounded, exhausted, and outnumbered 6-1. They went anyway. Had divided her forces into 3 groups. The first group, led by, would attack the supply depot on the east side of the city. The second group, led by, would strike at the communication center. The third group, led by herself, would assault the command post. It was a bold plan. It was also desperate. If any part failed, they would all die. Stay here, told before she left. Whatever happens, stay hidden. If we win, we will come back for you. If we lose, try to survive until help arrives. Help? We sent a message to the human fleet 3 days ago. They are coming. We just need to buy time. Then she was gone, disappearing into the night with her soldiers. Was left alone with the wounded and the civilians who could not fight. He sat in the darkness, listening to the distant sounds of battle. The first explosions came from the east. His group had reached the supply depot. could hear gunfire and screaming even from this distance. The fighting was intense, brutal. Then more explosions from the north. His group had reached the communication center. They would be confused now, attacked from multiple directions. Finally, the loudest explosions of all came from the center of the city, was attacking the command post. Found a small hole in the basement wall where he could see part of the city. What he saw made his heart stop. The humans were everywhere. They moved through the streets like shadows, striking and vanishing before they could respond. They used the ruins as cover, appearing from windows and doorways to fire on enemy soldiers. He saw a group of humans ambush a patrol. They attacked with perfect coordination, hitting the enemy from 3 sides at once. They never had a chance to fight back. In seconds, they were all dead. He saw a lone human soldier crawl underneath a vehicle and place explosives. The vehicle exploded moments later, killing everyone inside. The soldier ran away into the darkness, already looking for his next target. He saw a woman climb onto a rooftop and fire down at them with a sniper rifle. She killed 7 before they found her position. Then she simply moved to another rooftop and started again. They did not know how to respond. They were used to enemies who fought in straight lines, who attacked from predictable directions, who broke and ran when the battle turned against them. Humans did none of those things. They attacked from everywhere and nowhere. They used every dirty trick imaginable. They fought with guns when they had ammunition, with knives when they ran out, with rocks and bare hands when there was nothing else. And they showed no mercy. Watched a human soldier capture a wounded. The alien begged for its life, promising information, promising surrender. The human shot it without hesitation and moved on. He saw another human find a group of hiding in a building. Instead of fighting them directly, she set the building on fire and waited outside. They had to choose between burning to death or running out to face her weapons. None of them survived. Hours passed. The battle continued. The humans took heavy losses, but they kept fighting. Every time they thought they had won, another attack would come from a different direction. Just before dawn, heard cheering from the direction of the command post. A few minutes later, a messenger arrived at the basement. "The command post has fallen," she reported, breathing hard. "Captain killed the commander herself. Their leadership is in chaos." More cheers erupted from the wounded soldiers in the basement. Could not believe what he was hearing. "How many did we lose?" someone asked. The messenger's face fell. "Over half. The group was hit hard, is dead, many others too." The cheering stopped. Silence filled the room, but noticed something strange. The humans were sad, but they were not defeated. They mourned their dead, but they did not despair. "They died fighting," said quietly. "They died as free people, not slaves. That is something." Everyone nodded. It was enough. Somehow it was enough. Returned as the sun rose. She was covered in blood and dirt. Her uniform was torn and she walked with a limp, but her eyes were still burning with that cold fire. "Report," she demanded. One of her officers stepped forward. "The supply depot is destroyed. The communication center is disabled. The command post is ours. Forces are scattered and confused." "What about their reinforcements?" "Still coming. They will be here by noon." Nodded, she looked around at her remaining fighters. There were less than 300 now. Many were wounded. All were exhausted. "Good work," she said. "But we are not done yet. They will regroup and attack again. We need to be ready." "How?" someone asked. "We have barely enough people left to hold one position." "Then we make them pay for every position. We make this the most expensive victory in history. We make them remember what it cost to take this world." Stepped forward. "Captain, I have a question." Looked at him with those terrible eyes. "What is it, diplomat?" "Your people have already won. You destroyed their leadership, their supplies, their communications. You have shown them what humans can do. Why keep fighting? Why not retreat and wait for your fleet?" Was quiet for a moment. When she spoke, her voice was heavy with something could not name. Because retreat means leaving behind the wounded who cannot move. It means abandoning the civilians still hiding in the city. It means giving the time to regroup and hunt them down. "But if you stay, you will all die." "Maybe, but we will die protecting our people. We will die making sure to pay for every life they take." She paused. "You asked me once why the stars fear humans. This is why. We do not count costs. We do not calculate odds. When the people we love are in danger, we fight until we win or until there is nothing left of us to fight." "That is madness." "No, that is love. Strange, violent, beautiful love. The kind that makes humans willing to burn the galaxy if it means protecting one child." She turned away and started giving orders for the next battle. Stood there, surrounded by wounded soldiers and exhausted fighters, and felt something he had never felt before. Fear, real deep primal fear. Not of the humans, not exactly. He feared what they represented. He feared a species that could look at impossible odds and choose to fight anyway. He feared creatures who transformed suffering into strength and death into defiance. The elder races were right to fear them. Because when humans went to war, they did not fight to survive. They fought to win, and they would sacrifice anything, including themselves, to achieve that victory. They had no idea what they had awakened. But they were about to find out. The human fleet arrived at noon, just as the reinforcements began their final assault. Heard the news before he saw anything. A young soldier burst into the basement, tears streaming down her face. "Ships," she screamed. "Human ships, hundreds of them." Everyone who could move rushed outside. Followed, his old legs struggling to keep up. When he reached the street, he looked up at the sky and saw something that would stay with him forever. The sky was filled with human warships. They dropped from orbit like falling stars, their weapons already firing. Ships tried to flee, but there was nowhere to go. The humans had surrounded the planet. On the ground, the effect was immediate. Soldiers stopped their advance and looked up in horror. Their reinforcements would never arrive. Their escape routes were gone. They were trapped. And the humans knew it. His voice came over every speaker in the city. "Attention forces, your fleet is destroyed. Your command is dead. You have two choices. Surrender now or die fighting. You have 10 minutes to decide." The message repeated in the language. Watched the enemy soldiers look at each other, confusion and fear in their red eyes. They had never faced this choice before. The conquered. They did not surrender, but they had also never been defeated like this. 10 minutes passed. Some groups threw down their weapons and raised their hands. Others tried to run. Others chose to fight. The humans did not hesitate. Watched as human soldiers swept through the city, hunting down every who refused to surrender. The fighting was brutal and fast. The exhausted defenders who had survived the night now fought alongside fresh troops from the fleet. By sunset, it was over. The Empire had lost over 8,000 soldiers. Their fleet was destroyed. Their invasion had failed completely. And the humans had won. Sat on a pile of broken concrete, watching the cleanup begin. Human soldiers were gathering prisoners, collecting the dead, searching for survivors. Medical teams moved through the streets, treating the wounded. Found him there as the stars began to appear. She sat down next to him without speaking. Her face was tired, old beyond her years. She had fought for 4 days without rest. She had lost half her people, but she had won. "You survived," she said. "So did you." Barely. She looked at the destruction around them. "This was my grandmother's city. She built it with her own hands. Now it is ruins." "You can rebuild." "We will. Humans always rebuild. It is what we do." She paused, "but we never forget." Was quiet for a long time. When he finally spoke, his voice was soft. "I understand now. Looked at him, understand what? Why the elder races fear humans, why they speak of your kind in whispers. I thought it was because you were strong or dangerous or unpredictable. I was wrong. Then what is it? Turn to face her. It is because you do not think like other species. When they invaded, any other race would have calculated their chances, seen that they would lose and surrendered. It is logical. It is rational. It is how the galaxy works. But humans do not work that way. No, you do not. You looked at impossible odds and chose to fight anyway. You watched your friends die and fought harder. You were beaten and broken and wounded, and you never stopped. He shook his head slowly. That is not courage. That is something else entirely. What is it then? I do not have a word for it in my language. Perhaps there is no word. It is like a fire that burns inside you, a fire that gets stronger when it should go out. The more you suffer, the brighter it burns. The closer you come to death, the harder you fight. Nodded slowly. My grandmother had a word for it. She called it determination. But that is not quite right either. It is love and anger and hope and despair all mixed together. It is the thing that makes a mother lift a vehicle off her child. It is the thing that makes a soldier run into fire to save a stranger. It is terrifying. I know. They sat in silence as more stars appeared. The night was cold, but neither of them moved. What will you tell the council? Asked eventually. Thought about his original mission. He had come to study humans, to understand why the elder races feared them. He had found his answer, but he was not sure he could explain it. I will tell them the truth, he said. I will tell them that humans are not dangerous because they are strong. Many species are stronger. I will tell them that humans are not dangerous because they are smart. Many species are smarter. I will tell them that humans are dangerous because they have something no other species possesses. What is that? A total refusal to accept defeat. A willingness to fight until there is nothing left to fight with. A fire in your souls that cannot be extinguished by logic or fear or pain. He paused. The thought they understood war. They were wrong. War is not about weapons or numbers or strategy. War is about will, and no species in the galaxy has more will than humans. Did not respond. She did not need to. A young soldier approached them. It was. His arm was in a sling and he walked with a limp, but he was alive. He had survived the assault on the supply depot despite being shot 3 times. Captain, he said, the last have surrendered. The city is secure. Good, make sure the prisoners are treated fairly. We are not like them. Nodded and walked away. Watched him go and thought about the young lieutenant he had met 4 days ago. That man was gone now, replaced by something harder and colder. Will he recover? Asked. I do not know. Some people do. Some people carry the war inside them forever. Stood up slowly, her body aching. I should go. There is much work to do. Captain, one more question. She stopped and looked at him. When this is over, when your people have rebuilt and your wounds have healed, what will you do? Will you take revenge on them? Will you conquer their worlds as they tried to conquer yours? Was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was sad. No, we will not become what we fought against. We will rebuild our city, heal our wounded, and bury our dead. We will hold our children close and teach them about peace. She paused. But we will also remember. We will remember what they did here, and if they ever threaten us again, we will be ready. You will show them mercy. Mercy is a choice, just like war. We choose peace because it is better, not because we are weak, but never mistake our mercy for weakness. Never think that because we choose not to fight, we cannot fight. Her eyes grew cold. If they touch our people again, we will not stop at defending ourselves. We will hunt them across the galaxy. We will find every world they have ever called home, and we will make them pay for every drop of human blood they spilled. She walked away into the ruins of her city. Watched her go and felt the truth of her words in his bones. Humans were peaceful. Humans were kind. Humans built cities and raised children and dreamed of the stars. But when they went to war, they became something else, something ancient and terrible and unstoppable. They became a force that would shake the galaxy to its foundations. The stars were right to fear their might. And now so was